Session 1 of Trident. Now, the purpose of Trident is that during a normal campaign of Descent into Avernus, when players can't make it, we all pretty much stop what we're doing. To avoid that, I started Trident. Trident is strictly just going to be a straight up like Adventure Guild type campaign where we do nothing but one shots that I've purchased from DM's Guild. Tonight we're going to be doing Blue Alley, by Alan Patrick and MT Black. I don't know anything about Alan Patrick, but I absolutely love MT Black. This should be fun. Let's get started.
Annoying to the DM.
Everything's annoying.
That's true.
Especially luck.
I don't have that.
Nobody should fucking have it.
Yeah.
I don't have the luck feat.
Honestly, halfling luck is a lot better in that it only procs on a nat 1. It just means you're getting nat 1s much less than everyone else. I can accept that.
Alright. So, you're all starting off standing outside large iron and wooden gates, standing outside the Trident headquarters. Trident is the premier adventuring guild in Faerun. Its main headquarters, located inside Waterdeep, has kept adventurers attempting the pilgrimage to join for over 350 years now. Many of the successful Trident alumni have gone down in history books and or branched off to start their own relatively successful guilds. For whatever reason, you've all individually made your way to Waterdeep in an attempt to join. You've all spent some time in the city of Waterdeep doing your touristy stuff after you sent in your written applications. You all individually receive notices that you've passed stage 1, and you are now standing outside the gates to headquarters for the physical aspect of your initiation. As you're all standing around, do you guys want to all describe each other? Ariza?
Ariza is a average, well, approximately a 5'7" humanoid female with Caucasian skin, but with this ever so slightly pink tint to it. She's currently wearing a set of leather armor, hood down, black hair that comes down to her shoulders, and well, she looks to be more of a dexterous and more one that actually likes to be close quarters combat with her targets.
Greedo?
Greedo is a deep gnome. He's got a fairly odd coloured skin for his kind. It's kind of a bit darker than normal, almost black. He's a little bit taller than the normal gnome as well, but kind of hobbled over and in stock. He's kind of a little bit lanky, kind of very soft-footed as he kind of sneaks around. He tries to keep his presence somewhat unknown. He's a little bit self-aware of his disfigurement from the usual deep gnome, but he uses it to his advantage. He's a little bit odd in his speech sometimes, mixes words, but he does his best to use whatever language is necessary in the current circumstance that he's in. A little bit of a chameleon in that sense, but he's proud of his oddities.
Sure, I'm going to stuff up the pronunciation, but Valadia?
Valadia. You're close. Very close. Valadia is a female dragonborn of the silver variety, who is evidently much taller than the two people described here at 6'10". But despite the height, she's relatively slight, has admittedly something that people might not recognize in a dragonborn, but what would be usually considered a dancer's frame. She's just wearing basic clothes, very much standard stock issue from that. Apart from a small gem that's resting on a bracelet about her wrist. Other than that, that's Philadia.
Portia?
So Portia is a 2'10" halfling with very pale freckled skin and red curly hair. She's carrying a short sword that looks more like an oversized dagger because she's tiny. And the only thing really of note about her is she's wearing a rather smart-looking cloth vest. Otherwise, she's pretty plain, sort of just hangs around.
2'10"?
I'm a halfling.
Small even for a halfling.
Yeah, I'm
Jeez
tiny.
Louise.
I rolled for that.
Alright, is everyone a rogue?
No.
Alright.
If so, we need
Not a
to
rogue.
re-roll real quick.
It'll be interesting. So you're all standing outside. There's a standing next to a very large, where normally wooden gates are reinforced with metal. This one is a metal gate embellished with wood. There's steel, solid fence around this property, and the arch above the door. Although you know it to be Trident, everyone in the city of Waterdeep knows it to be Trident. It is not named or embellished in any way, shape, or form. A monolith of a compound that you're standing outside. As you all stand there, taking in the people around you, the gate opens silently, and standing before you is a large, light-skinned Goliath in black, like completely black leathers, black boots, with a matte black breastplate, and the only semblance of color on his outfit is you can see that there is some cloth tucked in between his breastplate and his armor. All of the joints like stand out, darker than the rest of his leather, as he keeps them well oiled. He has a very small set of reading glasses on and a clipboard. And he opens the gate to you all, steps out, closes it behind him, looks at you all and says, "Right, what I have today then."
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Might not be by the end of this. Now then, I don't rightly give a fuck why you're here. Someone ticked you off, and it's my job to make sure you're worth the effort. I don't care if you saved your family for some goblins. I don't care if your name is known far and wide. Here at Trident, you start at the bottom and you work your way up through your actions. Do you understand?
Understood.
Simple enough.
One of you's named Ariza.
She steps forward. Yes.
Come with me then. The rest of you wait here. And he steps through the gate, holding it open just for you.
Yeah. I follow through.
As you step in, you are brought into a very large courtyard. The property itself is diamond-shaped on the block that you're standing on. There's a very large courtyard, and immediately where you're standing, through the gate, is a one straight path to an entryway. And there's a building that sprawls out, taking up half of this diamond-shaped property. In the courtyard itself, as you step through, there is what appears to be an obstacle course of sorts on the left, and on the right is a whole bunch of like training dummies, targets, all that sort of stuff. He steps up, he just walks off, kind of expecting you to follow him, and he stops at what you presume to be the start of the obstacle course. Situated in front of you is a pedestal, and on top of it is a very large stone. And he looks at you, looks at it, says, all right then, lift it up. Make an athletics check, please. Are you proficient in athletics?
I am not, no. I'm proficient in acrobatics.
Alright, just a straight athletics roll then.
Okay. Just to DM? Or GM, sorry?
No, you can just do it publicly, it's fine.
Oh, shit, that was... I forgot to remove the query advantage.
That's alright. So, as you step up to it, you wrap your arms around it. It's an atlas stone. You wrap your arms around it, and you find that, when you wrap your arms around it, your hands can touch on the other side. And before you start lifting, the circumference of the atlas stone increases so that your fingertips can barely touch each other. You step up to it, you put your weight on your back legs, and begin to lift. And you see it actually, it seems pretty reasonable. And then as you lift it and you lean back to get it off this pedestal, the atlas stone actually gets heavier and heavier and heavier until eventually it's too heavy and it just sinks back onto the pedestal with a thud. And you look at the Goliath, and he scribbles down on the clipboard. Says, "All right, come on to the next one then." And behind the atlas stone is a pool of water, 30 foot long, like a lap pool.
Yep.
Very narrow, 30 foot long. You don't know how deep it is. And he says, "What I want you to do here, run as far as you can."
You expect me to run underwater? Very well.
I expect you to try. You said you're
I'll see what I can
proficient
do.
in acrobatics.
I am, yes.
Can you make an acrobatics roll with advantage, please?
Ooh, thank you. Nice.
Yeah, so he ushers you to the very lip of the pool. You don't get any sort of run up or anything like that. And says, as you kind of stand there, still kind of looking at the pool, you're wondering if you really expected to do this. He says, "Oh, off you go then." And you start running. You make it about 20 feet. It seems like it's not water. It is something slightly denser than water as you step onto it. But nonetheless, eventually you do start to sink into it. And as soon as your ankle, as soon as the gelatinous sort of material reaches up to your ankle, he starts scribbling on the clipboard and just kind of waits for you to get out.
She'll just like hop out like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Okay. Very well.
Whatever it's made of, as you climb out, it starts to like drip off en masse. Like you don't feel wet, none of the moisture sticks to you. Within a sort of 10 steps as you follow him along, you find that you're 100% dry again. For the next one, he just follows along. He stands next to a table where there are 4 glass orbs. Inside the orbs is like a smoke, like billowing around inside of it. And he says, stand right here. And he ushers points at the ground immediately in front of him.
I'll go ahead and stand there.
Yeah, he is very tall. He's about 7.5 feet.
Jesus Christ.
And you are like borderline nose touching his armor. And he picks up one of the orbs, crushes it in his hand, and you are cast into pitch black. Given that it was near on noon, this is kind of startling for a second. It's almost like you're blind. But as you start to blink away, you realize it's just really, really dark. And as your eyes begin to adjust, the Goliath is not in front of you anymore. You hear from all around you, "Find me if you can." You make a perception check.
Normal perception check.
Are you proficient in it?
No.
Alright.
Should have been though. Oh well.
After a moment, your eyes properly adjust. Also, do you have dark vision?
I do, 60 feet.
Alright, roll it again with advantage.
Okay. No better.
So after it takes you about 10 seconds just to adjust to the sudden darkness as it's happened. Like you've literally gone from open, clear blue skies and high noon to pitch black. There's a little bit of a transition period where you got to get your night vision correct. And immediately, as it starts to settle in, you start to make out all the things around you. You can see the pool behind you and the Atlas stone behind that. It takes you probably another 30-40 seconds or so. And eventually you can see the outline of this Goliath behind a tree. But he is surprisingly adept behind it. There's only like a protrusion of a toe at the base that gives his position away.
She'll just stroll up all casually like and lean over as like, "Found ya."
Very well done. And he scribbles on the notepad again, on the clipboard. He, behind the tree, he like just steps like 2 feet away from the tree. And where he was standing, there's a hole, a cavity inside the tree. And he says, "Inside there's a trap. You need to disable it."
Alrighty.
Are you proficient in sleight of hand?
Yes, I am.
You make a sleight of hand check with advantage.
Oof. I was doing so well. I did great at that one thing that I'm not great at.
I mean, you know your way around some traps. You know not to just thrust your hand in there and essentially set it off. You start gently brushing around the outer circumference of this cavity in the tree, and you find that there's actually multiple traps in there. Essentially, it's rigged up with a bunch of mouse traps, nothing that would legitimately hurt you or harm you in any way. And as you kind of come to that realization, gently brushing against them with the tips, with your fingertips, you start to disable them. You get to 3 out of 5 before one of them goes off, and you start on the 5th one, and he says, "That's enough. That's all I need to see."
Very well.
And he moves on to one last table that's right next to the door into this large property. In front of you is a map of Waterdeep. Now, although you've spent a few days getting the gist of the city, to say you know it like the back of your hand would be a stretch. There's a... Tell me where this building is on the map. Can you make a survival check? With advantage if you're proficient.
I am not. I should. Oh shit. Okay.
You a couple of minutes later, I mean, there's a whole bunch of, there's compasses, there's sextants, there's a magnifying glass. Yeah, even if you understand how these work, you've just spent the last few days doing all the sightseeing and touristy stuff. As you look around, there's no sort of landmarks you can spot to sort of position yourself. And after about a minute and a half, you kind of go, well then, it probably shouldn't take this long.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not much of a survival expert, unfortunately. I do try my best though.
All right then. And you see him start scribbling on the pad again. He says, "That door there, stand by it. Don't say a word."
She just gives a very firm nod and goes towards the door.
Don't stand in front of the door. People more important than you might be coming in and out. Just stand off to the side.
Yeah, like standing near it. She'll probably lean against the wall or something like that, close to the door, about 5 feet away.
All right, then. Give me a second.
Oh, Barney, sir.
Are you playing, Barney, or are you just dropping in?
Just saying g'day.
Play.
You know,
He wanted to feel like one of the cool kids. Why he came here, I don't know.
Snooze, you
Well-
lose, loser.
that's fair, man. You have a good night.
So after a few, about 5 minutes passes, the Goliath opens the gate again silently, steps out. Says, "This took a little bit longer than I expected. All of you follow me," and you all begin to follow him into the property. As you step into the property, you can see the character who was let in first, standing. So you're standing in front of on a footpath that leads directly up the middle of this diamond-shaped compound that you're all standing inside of now, leading directly to a door. Just to the right of that door is, one of the group who was led through first. On the left of the footpath is an odd-looking obstacle course, and on the right is a bunch of like training dummies, targets, all that sort of thing. He leads you all up to a pedestal. Atop the pedestal is an Atlas stone. Behind that is what looks to be like a lap pool of water. There's an odd table with a bunch of orbs. On the ground around it is a bunch of shattered glass. And he says, "Took a bit longer than I expected, so we're all just gonna bang this out one by one. I've got way more fucking important shit to take care of." And he adjusts his reading glasses, steps up to the pedestal, and says, "What, one of you lot named Greedo?"
Yep, that's me, sir.
What you need to do is approach here and lift this Atlas stone."
Alright, sir.
So as
do my best.
As you approach, the pedestal itself begins to shorten, and the ball, the Atlas stone atop it, begins to shrink in size. It's about chest height. You wrap your arms around it, and you find that as you wrap your arms around it, you can kind of clasp your hands together on the other side, and it readjusts its size again, so that you can't even touch your fingertips. And he says, "All right, then lift it. Can you make an athletics check, please, with advantage if you're proficient? The negative one, I assume you're not proficient."
No. I'm a bit weak, sir.
I can see that. So as you lift it, you have to kind of like step back, kind of arch your back to get it off this pedestal. And as it starts to give a little bit of movement, it gets heavier and heavier. And you adjust accordingly, lift it up a little bit more, and it just gets heavier and heavier. And eventually, it gets so heavy that it just kind of thunks back down on the pedestal. "All right, then. Philadia. One of you lot's named Philadia.
That would be me.
That like a flower?"
No, it's just my name.
"Very well, then. I hope I don't have to explain this to you, too."
You know, I
And
think
he
I can
just-
handle it.
He just points at the stone. Athletics check, with advantage if you're proficient.
I have to turn that off.
So you're not proficient?
No, sir.
Again, it does as you start to approach. Obviously, you're way taller than this gnome. The gnome steps away and you start to approach, the podium seems to adjust itself accordingly. The Atlas Stone makes some rough approximations. You wrap your arms around it. Again, you find that when you wrap your arms around it, you can clasp your wrists, and it adjusts its circumference so that you can't even touch your fingertips. You begin to heave, but after a couple of you shift it slightly on the podium, but it does its. You also feel the same odd sensation that its weight increases as well, and eventually there's just a thunk as it settles back down. And the Goliath scribbles on the clipboard. There's a Portia. I assume that's you.
That's me.
You're
Advantage.
You're about to test the boundaries of the magic on this pedestal. As you approach, it actually shrinks down to like a barbell size with a ball on the end, and shrinks and sort of increases in size again. Again, you wrap your arms around it, you can feel your wrists, it adjusts accordingly so that you can't clasp your hands. Athletics with advantage if you are proficient.
Cool. Nice.
So when you pick it up, it's kind of like a medicine ball weight, and you begin to step back. He says, I wouldn't do that if I were you, the bitch, to get off the ground. And you start to see why he says that. It increases in weight, but you kind of readjust, heft it up a little bit. Still nothing too crazy, and then it just keeps increasing and increasing and increasing, until eventually your legs start shaking and your arms start shaking. And eventually the Goliath himself has to step over, and just after like a minute, which is an eerily long time given how long everyone else lasted. The Goliath himself approaches, bends down to pick it up, and actually you can see, you yourself can see that he has a surprised look on his face. And he says, nice. And it takes him just a tiny bit. Yeah, I mean, in terms of relative to his size, it's still a minuscule strain for him to take it off you and put it on the podium. But you can see, like, as he lifts it, you can see his like arms are tensing underneath the leather and everything. It's not as light for him as he's making it out to be. And he says, "All right then. So what I want you to do," and he steps forward. There's Greedo. That's you. Yep. Step forward, and he ushers you towards the pool, and he points on the lip of it, so that you don't get any run up or anything like that. The tip of your toes would be dangling over the edge, and he says, "Want you to run as far as you can."
All right.
Can you make an acrobatics check with advantage if you?
No, there you go.
So as you step out,
Damn.
as you step out, it's not water, and that's apparent to all of you as soon as he steps out, and he doesn't just instantly sink. It's more gelatinous than water, but it still gives. And as you start running, and you realize it's not a futile exercise that you can actually step onto it. You kind of get the gist of it. You start using a bit of the momentum, and you get yourself about 25 feet. Before eventually, as soon as your ankles in the like gelatin concoction, he starts scribbling on the notepad, completely turns away from you, and Philadia. So Greedo, as you get out on the other end, you have to kind of like wade through it. You get out on the other end, it like drips off in huge clumps, And as you sort of approach the rest of the group and sort of stand off to the side, now that you've finished it, after about 10 paces, you're completely dry. It doesn't stick to you at all like water does. And yeah, so he looks at you, Philadelphia, and says, "Off you go, Dan."
Righto. Got it.
Again, you get the odd sort of second of recognition that it's not water, and it's kind of eerie for a second as you take that first step. But yeah, you quickly sort of figure out the gist. You make it about between sort of 18 and 22 feet before eventually it hits your ankles. You start sinking and you have to sort of wade to the end. And the Goliath is, as soon as it touches your ankle, scribbles down on the clipboard and turns, all right, then let's see if you can back it up.
All right, my turn. Advantage if I'm proficient, yeah?
Yep.
Yes.
So yeah, you begin. You've kind of been watching everyone else go in front of you. And yeah, you get about 15 feet before eventually you start to sink. And you notice as you're running that the Goliath has just started scribbling in the on the clipboard. And he turns towards the table with the glass orbs and kind of ushers towards Greedo and sort of shoos you all away, like sort of like, you know, a little bit back, a little bit back, a little bit back. And then he yeah, puts his palm flat to stop. He says to you, Greedo, "I want you to stand right here," and he points immediately on the ground in front of him.
So what's that, sir?
"I want you to stand right here," and he points immediately in front of him. So you begin to approach, and he kind of like pulls you in a tiny bit closer. Given the size difference, you're a little bit intimidated by this 7.5 foot monolith of a human being. And he grabs one of the orbs off the table and crushes it in his hand. And you are immediately cast into darkness. There's almost like a disorientating second where you almost think that you're gone blind. But your eyes begin to adjust. The rest of the group, you see a dome of darkness about 30 feet in diameter just instantly appear where they were standing. Do you have dark vision by chance?
Dude, I was born in the darkness.
So as you stand there, you after about 10 seconds or so, your eyes adjust. You start to realize you're not blind. It's just a disorientating effect of going from high noon to pitch black. You start to make out the table. You start to see the lip of the pool that you just ran through. And from all around you, you hear, "All right, find me if you can." Can you make a perception check with advantage? Almost as immediately as he says it, "Find me if you can," the consonant N at the end of it kind of directs you in one direction where the rest of it was literally surrounding you. You look towards a tree, and at the base of the tree you can see some toes escaping. And you just walk up to him and he says, "All right, Dan, stand here." And he pushes you just a couple more feet back from the tree. You all have to kind of stand around for a second. You have no idea what's going on inside the darkness. You didn't hear any of that. And after about a minute or two, as quickly as the dome went up, it just vanishes. You see Greedo standing about 15 feet away from you next to a tree. And the Goliath is standing next to the table, and he says, "Valadia, you're up." And he points at the ground immediately next to him, in front of him.
All right then.
Same thing. He kind of takes you by the shoulders and pulls you in just a tiny bit closer, almost to the point where your nose is like touching his chest, almost pressed against
Oh,
the
we don't know each other
breastplate.
well enough for that, darling.
And again crushes the orb, and you're thrown into darkness. And the same thing, you get the voice all around you saying, "Fire me if you can." Perception with advantage if you're proficient or have dark vision.
Oh, that's unfortunate for me, isn't it? Yeah, that looks about right.
Ooh.
After about 2 minutes, the dome disappears. Your cast there's the shocking transition into like high noon again, and you kind of have to blink away the like the colors in your eyes. And the Goliath is standing behind Portia, and he says, "Well, that was. Let's go, little one." And he kind of stands next to the table again. And says to Philadia, "Stand by your comrade over there, please."
Righto.
Same sort of thing, except for you, Portia. He kind of gives you a couple of about 1.5 foot distance, just because of how awkward it would be. Same thing. Picks up the orb, crushes it. You cast into darkness. There's about a 10-second sort of transitionary period from high noon to pitch black, and says, you get the same. Fire me if you can. Perception with advantage if you have dark vision or are proficient.
I do not. It's not great.
After about a minute or so, you find the sort of toes, almost by accident. You sort of like just head towards the tree. You see a giant figure in the distance, and you know to yourself, you're like, "Found him," but it's the tree. And then when you sit down, you actually sit on his like toes, and he's like, "Well done."
Totally meant to do that.
Lets another minute or so pass. When the darkness dissipates, he's this time, given that this is the last person to do the test, he is standing next to the tree. Where he's hiding, he had like sort of his back pressed up against the tree. Now that he's not against the tree, you can see that there's a cavity. And he says to Greedo, just points at Greedo. Says, inside here, a trap. Disarm it. Can you make a sleight of hand check with advantage if you... Jesus.
I'm pretty skilled with my hands,
You, given that you have some knowledge of traps, you know not to just thrust your hand in there. You start sort of brushing the outer perimeter and working your way in with your fingertips. Essentially, the contraption that's inside is like a bank of mouse traps, sort of all around the perimeter. And you essentially, once you figure that out, you essentially like in a quick circle, like one of those fucking freaks on YouTube that draws perfect circles with their chalk on a whiteboard. You just brush your finger along so fast that they don't have a chance to snap on your finger. And you step back, he takes your hand in his and kind of looks at your finger and he says, "A bit crude but effective. Stand by the table over there." And he points towards, so where the main door is into the building, that you guys haven't been inside of yet. On one side of the door is a table, and on the other side of the door is a Reza. There's the same thing. He fidgets around inside there for all of like 2 seconds, and says, "Well, I assume you heard that one. Off you go, Philadia."
Alrighty.
You do the same sort of thing. You also figure out that it's essentially like a perimeter of mouse traps. But gonna stumble for a second. You're like, how do you set off all of them or disable all of them? So yeah, you quickly, deftly move your fingers around. You start to like release the hatches, let them loose slowly. You get to the first two, and the Goliath's like, quickly, we got more things to do today. And then you're just like, well, if the gnome can do it, so can I, and just set the rest off. He again takes your hand, kind of goes, nice, over by the table. And Portia, attempting, trying his best.
How far up the tree is this cavity?
Yeah, attempting his best at not being condescending. He like puts his hand flat on the ground and says, it will be a lot quicker if we just get this over and done.
I suppose I'll step on it.
Oh, mate.
And he lifts you up to the cavity, rests his like hand against the base of the tree to provide as sound a platform as he can for you, which is surprisingly rock solid. You don't feel any tremors. There's nothing to mess with the test at all. And he says, let's get this over with.
Cool. Alright, slide a hand check.
Boy, Ariza is
Ooh.
trying not to piss herself laughing while standing by the door. She's just like, oh fuck. Not saying anything, just like biting her finger, trying not to.
What sort of hair do you have?
It's very short and curly, but I have 2 long braids that come down by my ears.
So yeah,
Like really thin, small braids.
The size of the cavity, you kind of follow everyone's lead. You gently brush around the perimeter. You know, even like the most common sense knows not to just jam your hand into a trap. You start brushing around. You also kind of figure out the gist of it. But the cavity is so wide, you can actually stick your head in there as well. And as you do that, you begin disabling the mouse traps, and you actually hear the Goliath say, "Ballsy." And as soon as he says it, snap. You don't feel anything though, and as he pulls his hand away, with it and places you as gently as he can on the ground, there's a mousetrap dangling from one of your braids.
Cool.
There's I have to mark this fairly, but A+ for effort. And he brings you, he walks over to the table. And for this
I'm
one,
going to enjoy being this small for once.
on the
How do
table,
you think it feels with scraps?
on the table is a map of Waterdeep, with a handful of compasses, sextants, magnifying glasses, and it says, "Find on this map where this building is." Can you all make survival checks with advantage if you have it? If you have. Gladia with a 17. Pusher with a 19. All of you at varying points of time point out the map of Waterdeep is broken up into wards, and you all, given your time in the city doing your touristy stuff while your applications are pending, you know that there's a dock ward, a south ward, a trades ward, castle ward, etc., etc. And all of you just remember, instantly, well, I know it's in the trades ward, so that narrows down 4/5 of the map. You start to look around, you can see the massive monolithic statues, and kind of eventually triangulate your position on the map. almost all at the same time, you point to one section, like one building on the map, and he goes, well, all right then. He says, go over there, stand by the other one. Give me 1 minute while I tally up your scores. And he ushers you all towards Ariza, and he steps inside the door of the building that you guys are standing on the other side of.
Alright, better head over and stand with her.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think you'll do?
I mean,
Hit or miss with some things. Doesn't seem entirely fair to those of us who uses magic, though.
True.
well,
Kinda
using
heavy.
magic doesn't seem fair to the rest of us.
Not my fault. I'm born with it.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it's Philadia.
How do you think you did to Arizo?
Well, considering that I had minimal effort with the stone, I think I did well on that, but I had no fucking idea where we were, to be honest. But overall, I hope I did well at least.
Well, I'm sure everyone hopes they did well.
Well enough.
About a minute or so passes. He steps back outside, clipboard on. Following behind him is a Goliath youth, which is still about 5'7", in almost identical armor to his, minus the breastplate. And the Goliath is the youth is carrying like bundles of something. The main one steps out and says, well then, I am head administrator R2 Godeld of Trident. This is my son and head assistant of Trident, Vetus Godeld. With this test, you've all been accepted into Trident. And as he's saying this, the Vetus, his son, is handing you each a bundle. In the bundle is some sort of fabric folded up, a piece of paper resting atop that, and you all know a coin purse when you see one, a coin purse on top of that. He says, with these tabards, you are all now accepted as adepts of Trident. Realistically, that means next to nothing. Work your way up. Get a little bit of a discount with our services. And, I mean, I wish we didn't give you tabards, but kind of helps out on the town. Everyone wants to join Trident. And Vetus finishes handing you all your tabards with the pieces of paper and the coin purse. The tabard itself is very plain. It's completely black, and in the middle of it is a crudely drawn white trident. 3 prongs. He says, you don't have to wear it around in ear, but it can open a few doors, and the Waterdeep Town Guard would know you could probably kill about 10 of them. And
Maria's just checking out the note as well.
the note, as you pick it up, is the Trident rules. So yeah, across the top, so it's a very nice, high quality paper, like a vellum. Across the top are the words strength, diplomacy, wealth. Then there's the rules, and at the very bottom is central in very dark red and gold flecked letters. To break a rule is death. There's noticing you reading it, it says you all want to have a read at that one. Make sure you accept it before you step through this door.
Also, I'd like to ask, are these tabards sized to us?
Yes.
How large is this?
They're all sized.
Oh, so it
Nope,
actually
you're
fits me
swimming in a
properly.
Goliath-sized tabard.
I know, right? It's
So
now
as
my
you-
sleeping bag.
And yeah, the coin purse has 5 gold coins inside.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So if you
Money!
didn't delete your background gold, you all should start with 5 gold.
I did.
I did.
So as you're all reading over it, counting the coins, looking at the tabards, he says, "Now I'm going to leave you capable hands of my son here before I go and do way more important things. Have any question?"
None that immediately spring to mind.
That is both the correct and incorrect answer at the same time. Steps inside the door, and you are left with the nearly 6-foot youthful Goliath.
Who I will point out is pretty much double my height.
Yep.
What do you mean, pretty much?
It's like 1 inch off being double my height.
He's double your height.
So Artug was his name, the administrator. He's stepped inside, and Vetus is now kind of patiently standing there, waiting for you all to kind of get over the, finish, reading, finish counting the gold, finish looking at the tabards. When the last of you is finished, and he says, "All right, then. Let's show you around." And he opens the door for you for the first time. As you step in, you step into a very plain entryway. There's a set of stairs in the back right corner that leads upstairs. There is a charred and polished counter. And he says, "So that's my desk right there. If you need anything, I'm the head assistant. You come to me, I'll get it done for you, alright?"
Noted.
There's only like 2 chairs in this way. It's a very large and spacious entryway. And there's 2 like dusty single chairs by the door. He says, "We don't get many visitors in here. Kind of, if you're supposed to be here, you just waltz on in. Gotta get a fair bit done around here, so we got no time for time wasters." He leads you to the right, and in the right wall, the east wall, is a large open door. He kind of steps up to it, kind of ushers you to look inside, and inside is a very large workshop. On one side of this room is a blacksmith, with everything that goes with it. All of the forge, anvils, hammers, tongs. It is massive. It's about the room itself is about 70 foot long, and that just the left side is a blacksmith. On the right is an alchemist. Equally as impressive setup.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, he says, as an adept, you don't really get much of a discount. You guys kind of get shafted a little bit. You kind of have to pay retail. But as you guys get promoted in Trident, discount gets bigger and bigger. If ever you make it to Imperator, everything in there is free.
Something to strive for then.
That's exactly right. Now, I don't know if my old man covered it with you, but we dish out contracts. Sometimes you don't have a choice, you get given one, you go do it. Sometimes you got a bit of an option there. As adepts, we take a 50% cut of your reward. The reward will be paid up front, and on completion, you'll be given your cut. Anything you find out on the job is yours. You find a fancy sword because we sent you into some ruin where there's impending doom and death. You know, we're not going to take that from you. We're not that mean. Well, the old man is, but I'm not. That savvy for all of you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Seems fine to
Right
me.
now, as adepts, got a 0% discount, and we take 50% of the contract. Similar to the discount though, as you get promoted, the discount comes. The discount goes up and the cut comes down.
Seems fair enough to us.
Very well then. And he goes to the west wall of this entryway. Stands at the door. Says, this here is sort of like the bread and butter of our operation. So what you guys see is like the nicest tavern and eatery that you've ever seen. There is like polished wood tables and chairs, roughly to seat about 300. They're all spaced out, similar sort of size room. It's still about 70 foot long, but this room is way wider. Across one of the walls is like a full-blown buffet where there's piles of vegetables, piles of fruit, assorted roast meats like turning on a spit. There's against the opposite wall is a full-blown bar with just bottles of everything you've ever seen and a bunch you haven't before. There's a barkeep, there's a cook, there's a barkeep behind the bar, there's a cook behind the buffet, and all in the middle are just these tons and tons of tables and chairs. Some of them have people in them, some of them have people leaned over in like private conversation. There's about 10 or so people here at the moment, spread out across the whole place. And he says, so this here is what we call the eatery. Anything here for you lot is free now. If you want to get hammered, go up to the bar, he'll sort you out. You can take as much food as you want, as long as you can pass that test outside. We're not going to hit you up if you get fat. Do whatever you want. For the most part, this is sort of like the social hub of the place as well. So, you know, if you're not on a job, come down here. You know, the old man is going to come down and be like, hey, I got a piece of paper for you. Piece of contracts are all pieces of paper, if you didn't know that. And he'll tap you on the shoulder, say, we got a job. And when that happens, you're expected to get the fuck up and get on it. Until that happens, though, you're free to come and go out of here. There's certain VIPs that we allow in. Anyone who pays up to create a contract is allowed in here as well. So, you know, sometimes some uppity up sort might come in, but you're like, hey, I've got, you know, I need this done, I've got 500 gold, but I want to pick someone. You know, no offense to you, ma'am, but if a VIP comes in and wants a security guard and we present you, they'll probably be disappointed at first glance.
Which one was he talking to?
I'm gonna
Portia.
guess me.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm used to being underestimated.
That's what we like to hear, because that's how you fucking impress people in this business. A lot of the time, the city itself comes to us for jobs too, because the fucking city guard are useless. There's a running joke in here that even you, an adept of Trident, literally the lowest of low, can probably take out about 10 of them. If you can't, don't admit it, just keep it going. Because they leave us right the fuck alone and we like it that way. If the uppity ups get word that we can't take them, then they might start, you know, then the gold dries up and they get them to do it for their salary, and that's fucking disgusting in my opinion.
So basically, just keep appearances, correct?
That's exactly right. Impress the fuck out of everyone when you do a job, and when you're not, scare the fuck out of everyone.
Easily done enough.
There's hope you're all not hungry right now, because I just got one more thing to show you. Then you'll all be free to do whatever you want until the old man comes down, and eventually you'll get a piece of paper. That's what you want. The more jobs you do, the more impressive you do them. The quicker you get promoted. Every job ends on a report that the people who give the jobs out, the contractors, they know how to write up the report, the format we accept, and they'll give it to you in a sealed letter. That letter has to come to the old man, R2, completely untouched. You mess around with it, you fuck up on a job and you think I can just mess with the report. Holy fuck. The last guy that did that was skinned. I mean that quite literally. Don't fuck around with the reports. And he says, well, now that's covered. Come on then. And he starts heading upstairs. Again, there's a very large, like, open area at the top of the stairs. There's only one door off this level, and the stairs continue up to a third floor. He approaches that door and says, alright, here we go then. This right here is the adept bunks. He opens the door. There's a long room of single beds. No privacy or anything whatsoever, just a long room of bunker, of barrack style bedding. There's about 35 beds in there. It's quite spacious. It's not like you're sleeping on top of each other. They're not bunk beds or anything like that. He says, at present, there's nobody else here. We don't have any other adepts. You'll get your own choice. Pick your bed. At the foot of each, so next to the beds, drawers, closets, and at the foot of the bed, chests. And given that there's no one else in the rooms, or you presume staying there, each chest has a key in it. He says, keep that key on ya. That's your key to your chest. They're all different. They're all magical. We're yet to have anyone break into these things, and we've sent for people far and wide to try. So you rest assured, even if you don't like your comrades here, chances are they can't fucking steal your stuff. If they do, and they manage to get away with it, we should probably pay them more. But if they get caught, they'll get skinned.
Seems to be common punishment.
I mean, if it works.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've only ever seen the old man and the leader of Trident dish out a punishment once, and it was a fucking skinning. That kind of stuff sticks with you.
That just sets an example.
That's exactly right. Plus, I mean, if the leader comes down from his high tower, you know you're really fucked up.
Really impressed, I'd hope.
Yeah,
Well,
or really, really fucking impressed.
Note to self, don't fuck up or I'm going to become a pair of boots.
Yeah, that's...
You
I
would
don't
make
know.
a lovely pair of boots.
Yes, that has been pointed out to me before.
I don't know what they did with the skin, but it's fucking gone now. Alright, so I am Vetus, and I have been your tour guide of the Trident property that you're allowed to see. The obstacle course, that's obviously in the courtyard. I mean, if you want to try again, you can, but no one's going to come out, write down your scores. The training dummies and the targets out the front on the other side of the courtyard, they're also open. You know, go nuts, train yourself. You can fuck up as many of them as you want. We get them for free from the city. Anything else? Got any questions? Anything you need a head assistant to take care of for you while I'm here?
I think we should. I'm pretty much good.
I'm quite alright, darling, thank you.
I think I've got it sorted.
Alright then, I'll leave you to it. I recommend you get some rest. Know how fucked that Atlas Stone can be. I've been practicing for years. You know, head down to the eatery whenever you like. And wait for the old man to dish out a contract. If you need anything, I'll be at my desk. And he shuts the door and presumably walks off.
I go window bed and she fucking bolts it down.
How many beds are there?
Like 35.
Yeah, about 35 beds.
Cool. I'm just gonna pick a random one in the middle of the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bottom bunk.
A bed's a bed's a bed, dear. Just pick one that you can fit in. Some of us will have an easier time than others.
But there's
There are
a
advantages to being
If
shorter.
all else fails, you can perhaps just like push 2 of them together.
yeah. So it's another the floor plan is almost identical to the eatery and the blacksmith. It's another 70 odd foot long room. But to maximize space for everyone, it's like alternating beds against each wall. So it's not 35 beds all pressed up against each other. It's like one on one side, one on the other, one on one side, one on the other. So you've got 5-10 feet between beds.
Cool.
I wouldn't worry about me, darling. It doesn't take much for me to fit into a small space. Plus, I sleep like a cat.
That's adorable.
Personally, I prefer the floor. Cold hard rocks.
I'm sure you can sleep under one of them.
Yeah, I think just this one just here looks good. The floor looks extra stony, rougher.
Well,
Fucking headband comes in, is like, alright, wake up, wait, why is there only like 3 of you? What the fuck? Where's the other one? Underneath the benches.
Soren logs.
well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use something to eat.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, Risa's just like getting a key, making sure that everything's all set up, and then probably gonna head down as well.
I'm gonna grab my key, but I'm not gonna bother putting anything in the chest.
Oh yeah, that
Just
too.
yet.
So make sure you jot that down, that you have a key. Or bunk key, chest key, or whatever you want to call it.
Trident's
Trident key.
chest key.
Also note down that you have your tabards and your 5 gold if you haven't already. And with that, we'll take a quick break.
Cool.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Alright, so Vetus has left you all to your own devices up in the barracks, the accommodations. You all picked out your bunks and I believe took your keys with you. And was it you were heading downstairs, is that right?
Yeah, for food.
Plan.
Alright, so yeah, you head back out the room, head back down the stairs, back into the lobby area. Vetus is there. There's yeah, I couldn't rightly wait to get my hands on some of that meat when Dad first let me in here too. Trying to understand where you're coming from. Don't let me hold you up.
I'm a vegetarian, actually.
That's a bit weird, but to each their own. You head into the eatery, and there's a few more people there. It's sort of by the time you guys finish the test and finish with the tour, it's sort of like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Some people, you like looking around, you can see that some people have just come down to get an early dinner, or maybe a breakfast, depending on their orientation. There's a lot of them. There's about 15, 20 people there at a glance. Some people are just sitting at the bar. Some people are ripping off haunches of meat. Nearly all of them look like what you expect members of Trident to look like. Some of them have got dinted and scarred armor. Some of them have scarred faces. All of them nearly are armed. And yeah, the place is your own.
Cool. I'm gonna see what vegetarian options they have for dinner.
So you get the gist. You're probably not the first vegetarian there. There are like tons of fruit and vegetables everywhere. Some of them mixed into like assorted salads. Some of them have like fish and shellfish options in the salads for the pescatarians. But yeah, this place is like the buffet is like insane. It's not just like apples. Like there are bananas, apples, oranges, star fruit, pineapple. There's people behind the stations, like all assorted greenery, all in various stages of being cooked. There's sort of like one, you presume to be the head cook, sort of marching up and down, like barking at his workers, and going into a back room to like as he barks out, you can hear, "Where the fuck that meat then? Come on!" And comes back out with like just a whole pig on a spit. You get the sense that the stones that the spits sit on are enchanted, because as soon as he rests the spit on the fucking handles that they dangle off, it instantly starts sizzling again. And there are workers there to slowly rotate them around.
So
Read
they're
them.
with ales and spirited beverages.
So the buffet is on like almost the entire like 70-foot wall on one side, on what would be the north side of this room. And the bar is about 35 foot long.
Jesus Christ.
And at a glance, there's no double ups of bottles.
Find me some Gorgondi. Get fucked up, get some vision going.
So all
Time
across
to get fucking proper wrecked.
all across like where the bar is, and there are stools around the bar as well, so you can just sit at the bar. From the roof is an assortment of kegs all along the bar itself. So like they're kind of dangling above your head if you sit at the bar, and then all behind it are assorted bottles of spirits and wine. All different shades of amber, red, white. Weird stuff in blue bottles. Everything you could possibly think of is there. As you approach the bar, there's a dwarf in like pretty shiny, like freshly polished armor, but it's obviously scarred. There's quite a few like dings where you can see it's been bashed in and then repaired. He's just sitting at the bar with an ale with a stein in his hand about the size of his head.
Nice.
So what would you guys like to do?
So it's just gonna get like a plate full of a little bit of everything, and I suppose just like one of the lighter ales, I suppose.
Yep, so at both ends and in the middle of the buffet is your like your island where there's just plates, cutlery. None of the plates match, and all the forks and knives of various sizes and various degrees of sharpness.
Gotta cater to everyone.
Yeah, there are.
Real silver cutlery.
Yeah, it's all silver.
Just gonna pocket one of these knives for later. Just for like guild purposes.
Oh boy.
You'll make a sleight of hand check.
Oh no.
Yes.
Literally the second rule. I'm pretty sure the guild tavern counts as.
A member.
Yeah.
I'll slide a hand check. Yep.
First session, not even one
I
contract
will
in,
laugh at it
immediately
for
gets
one.
kicked out.
I can roll an advantage, right? I've got proficiency.
No, not for this. Just a regular sleight of hand check.
No worries. Ready?
You're so fucking lucky.
So how poorly did you roll on that perception then?
That was a 15.
Oh,
God.
You get yourself a cheese knife.
Silver cheese knife.
Yeah, a silver cheese knife.
Well,
Like flared
That'll
out
be
like
good
a
for any
scimitar.
werewolves we come across.
Yeah, it's short, flared out like a scimitar, with like 2 prongs on the end. And you pocket it, and you, as soon as you pocket it, you like come to the realization there was one of those cooks immediately behind you, behind the buffet. But as you slip it into your pocket, a Reza like approaches the buffet and gets something. Immediately, it like blocking the cook's view of you.
Reza, I love you guys. I'm really tired. I'm gonna go up to the room and I think like take a quick nap. I think I ate
You
some
do
bad,
you.
like some bad mushrooms. From the,
Bad
buffet.
mushrooms? Where the fuck you think you got bad mushrooms from? Not here, mate. I'm
Buffet.
telling you that right now. That's one of
To
the
be
cooks,
fair,
like
he's just
arcing
getting
up
his
behind the
food.
buffet.
So obviously he didn't have the bad food here.
True, it was bad mushrooms from on my way in.
Right to remember that one.
The food here has been amazing. So
I'm gonna see if I can find any like roast vegetables.
Yeah, there's like potatoes, sweet potatoes, like pumpkin, like 3 different style of pumpkin, carrots,
Nice.
all sorts of assorted roast vegetables.
Nice. I'm gonna pile my plate fucking high.
Reese's doing similar, but just with meats as well.
let's be fair. Piling your plate high doesn't mean very much.
No, like piling my plate high for a normal sized person. And it looks like I'm gonna trip over the plate as I walk back.
As you begin,
That sounds like it should require a dexterity check or something. Honestly.
as you begin to turn away, one of the cooks goes, "Psst."
Yes.
I see, miss, that you don't have any meat on there. If you have any special dietary requirements, you can just let us know. We'll get it sorted for you. We'll make sure that
Thank you.
when you're in the base that it's prepared for you if you're so inclined.
Thank you. I don't have any allergies, and your selections of vegetables smell delicious, so I think we'll be alright.
We're all qualified dietitians as well. I've got to tell you, that's quite a few carbs you've got there.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Just in moderation. It's
I
just
know.
a tip.
I may look small, but I use a lot of energy getting places. Everywhere's out of my reach. I've got to climb everything.
Are you sure she's just using it so that way she can maybe just get a little bit taller?
I can't speak to that, to the heightly challenged. So whatever works for you, ma'am. Just letting you know.
Thank you for your consideration.
But yeah, so on the meat side, there's like beef, goat, lamb, pork. You're pretty sure what looks like an actual camel's head rotating on a rotisserie,
Delicious.
like just the head.
That sounds terrible, y'all.
As it goes
Just
towards
saying.
the vegetables,
I'm
like
sure it's
there's
considered a delicacy somewhere.
yeah, as it goes from the meat to the vegetables, there's assorted like seafood in the middle as well, like fish being cooked in leaves, shellfish, like various stages being cooked and raw, all that jazz. Pretty much anything you could want is, and if it's not there, as the lady just said, she'll get it for you.
I think she's just gonna grab like a bit of everything that's, I suppose, common, so not like the camel head or anything like that. Just common folk food.
I mean, you did say a bit of everything. Let's get
yeah,
weird.
but that was before I found out that they were handing out camel head.
time to be adventurous. This is Trident.
Exactly.
This is
I got-
Trident, bitch.
I
Get
got
adventurous.
some roast veggies, and I got some salad.
There is one cook behind the camel head, just kind of stirring, like spinning it. It's completely
like,
untouched.
She's just
Come
like,
on.
fuck it, I'll give it a go then.
You're actually going to try some camel?
Might as well.
As
Do
soon
it.
as
Survival
I'll
check?
take you. I'll take you up on
as
that.
soon
Joe.
as
It's
you
not normally
approach
what I'd try, but I'll give
the,
it a go.
as soon as you approach, the cook behind props up and is like, "Oh my god, I always just have to wait for Artug and Vetus. They're the other ones that eat it."
Well, I'm willing to try anything once.
Oh please, I recommend the eyes personally. I can cut you off some gum as well if you're into like something for later.
Is he a Goliath as well?
No, it's a human.
No? Human? Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I don't mind saying you're the first people to approach that aren't Goliaths in like 13 months.
Decent.
So yeah, if you want some really great jerky, I can salt up some of the gums for you. The ears make really good ladles for gravy for the rest of your meat, and then the gravy just kind of soaks in.
I'll give the jerky a try.
Just laying it on thick.
I want to know what the last person who wasn't a Goliath that went for some was, and what happened to them.
That's the thing though, ma'am. No one has touched it except the Goliaths. And as she's saying this, she's grabbed a massive set of pliers and is ripping out the teeth. And then with like, essentially metal cutters, is like cutting out a huge chunk of gum. As she like cuts out this huge, like it's like a maybe half an inch cube. As she like pries it off and snips off the last bit of flesh that's hanging on, she dips it and flips it in some salt and says, "Yeah, you wanna set that aside for a little bit, let it cure, but on the road there's nothing better. I promise you that."
I'll be sure to keep those one handy close by. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
She's just gonna like have it on the side of her plate with everything else, but yeah.
Now, if you want
Wrap
some
it up for
more,
later.
just make sure you get here before Vetus and Artug do, because they just take this to the table.
Bloody hell. Okay. I'll be sure to keep that in mind. Thank you. And she'll like move along afterwards. Find a
I
few
got
other
my
things.
plate piled. I'm gonna find a seat.
Yeah, so there are, there are tons of just empty tables.
Cool. I'm gonna grab one of those.
Yeah, you.
Am I gonna
pick
need like a
table.
booster seat?
Nah, just the phone book.
What a deep
Is there a
phone
high
book.
chair somewhere?
Yes. You mean a baby seat?
Uh,
So yeah, you just.
you'd think you'd just be proficient at just sitting on your feet at this point.
Just sort of
So
stand at the
standing.
table.
On the chair.
Yeah.
So yeah, so as you you just make your way to a table. It's empty. Next to you is another table. There's a wood elf sitting at that table just by himself with some lettuce and some fish.
Shit, does this mean I'm gonna have to remember what the sub races are in Faerun? Shit.
I'll remind you.
I can never fucking remember.
And this wood elf, he's cutting up his fish with a straight razor.
Nice.
But yeah, you'll find a table. You manage to sit down, get stuck into your food and drink. Every sort of roughly like every 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, you can see Vetus like checks in, like pokes his head through the large double doors leading in. He does a very you probably get the sense that he's trying to be sneaky, but because of his size, Like he does like this very deliberate scan of the room, and then like stares at the food for like 10 seconds, and stares at the bar for like 10 seconds,
Oh,
and then does another like very quick scan of the room before going back to his desk.
The eternal plight of the receptionist posted beside the buffet.
Yep.
After about 20 minutes or so, I mean, if you're so inclined, you go up for seconds, like the drink doesn't stop. And you can see a very large, very flamboyant, portly fellow walk through the front door of the building. It looks like his armor is gold plated. He's definitely in the upper echelon of middle age. Huge, like wide brim hat with a large feather, like a purple ruffled shirt underneath his breastplate. Very like ostentatious gemmed sword in a scabbard at his side, and like a large cloak with like trussels, like tying it around his shoulders. He just walks straight through the door, through the front doors of the Trident building, and then just makes his way straight over, like into the eatery and straight towards the buffet. Sort of as he goes, he sort of gives a nod to the barkeep. As he's walking through the room, he gives a nod to like assorted, Trident members as he goes. Other sort of some of the locals that seem to have the VIP status, that allow them entry in. It seems like he sort of knows everyone as he walks through. And yeah, he like similar to Portia, like heaps his plate. But it is ridiculous. Like he's got like 6 pieces of beef with 6 pieces of pork on top of that, like in a pyramid around, and like building up some, like supporting that is king crabs. He's built like this monolithic tower of food, and he's like piling up food around that to support it getting higher and higher. And yeah, he sits down with some other, like, to be or you presume to be members of Trident. With it, like, he seems to be very loud as well, although you can't make out what he's saying. Everything is like over the top with this guy.
I think this is one of those high class guys that actually do the contracts.
Mm.
Feel like that's a pretty safe bet.
One day,
What was that, Cheese?
one day I'll be rich like that.
Aren't you not here?
You can't hear me? Sorry?
No, didn't you say you went to the bedroom?
No?
I'm
Oh.
positive you said you went back up
Yeah.
to the room. After
Well,
you
he said
stole
he was
your
going
knife.
to, doesn't mean he
You
did.
said bad mushrooms.
Yes, I did.
It's all good.
No, I'm still wrestling with a table.
The wood elf next to you is like, hey, don't know what that is?
No.
We're kind of new here.
Sorry, darling, no idea.
That's Mert.
Mert?
Yeah,
M-E-R-T?
M-I-R-T.
Mert.
Do
And,
I recognize the name?
What position does Mr. Mert hold? Is he upper class? Is he leader? Is he someone, a regular customer?
One of the 4 leaders of Waterdeep.
Oh shit.
Oh.
That's up there.
Oh yeah, he's a real VIP, huh? Yeah. He's got gold coming out the wazoo.
Among other things,
Well-
apparently.
Considering what he's wearing and that he's actually one of the 4 leaders, I can actually imagine that, yeah.
Apparently he used to be some great adventurer in his own right. Now he's living that leadership like that parliament.
Then he took an answer, didn't he? I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say it.
But
Guessing
you
it
were
pays
thinking,
to be
yeah.
his friend.
Yeah, you get a Mert contract set up early. Say you guys are new?
Just gotta-
Yeah. Came through the doors this morning.
Probably gonna hit you guys with the Blue Alley then.
Oh,
Blue
Blue
Alley?
Alley. Sounds
Blue Alley.
interesting.
That's that thing he's been chasing adventurers to get after that thing for a while now, but either people go on there and they don't come back, or they just deny it. They find the job, leave Trident.
Well, he's hoping that we actually can leave a good impression on him.
Well,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
I didn't quite catch your name.
Analeth.
Atlas.
So this Blue Alley thing. Any other information about it, or is it just one of those scary stories?
Oh, there's I mean, I ain't ever been myself, but I heard quite a few rumors. I heard
Go
that
on.
if you get inside, there's a golden door filled with treasure behind it if you can manage to open it. And also heard that there's a glass chest somewhere that explodes. Touch it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing. I think it's all just a rumor. I don't know if it's a real place or not, but people have
I
definitely
mean,
been sent out there and
finding
not come
out whether
back.
or not it's even true would be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Me personally, I like to just stick to my security contracts. But
I mean, if it pays well, why not?
look, if you're new, I wouldn't be surprised if our two's down here in any moment with a piece of paper for you.
I suppose
Cue
I'd
him
better eat
through the
faster then.
door in 3, 2. As she looks over to the door.
About 12 hours pass.
Ariza just staring at the door the whole time.
Well, at least the
Any second
camel
now.
gum. At least the camel gum jerky will be cured by then.
I mean, certainly be well on its way at the very least.
As you're sort of talking to Analeth and you know, periodically like glancing over at Mert, you can all like clearly see him like lock eyes with you as a table, and then I mean, just from his body language, you can tell he's doing the whole like, so who are they sort of thing.
I'm gonna give a wave.
Just a little bit of a nod of recognition.
And he like instantly pushes the chair back, stands up, and starts making his way directly over to you, leaving his plate of food at that table. As
Arisa
he
just leans in and just whispers, "Okay, who gave him the finger?"
I didn't do anything.
and as he's walking away, you can tell like from the table that he was sitting with other members of Trident, you can tell there's like a mixed reaction of like awe and disgust. Because I mean, his plate, there's like crab bits all around it on the table. Like the pile of
Ooh.
meat is like half demolished, and just kind of like he's left a mess of himself at that table. But
Yep.
at the same time, it's also Mert, one of the leaders of Waterdeep. Kind of get the gist that like he gets a little bit of leeway. And yeah, he approaches, looks at the table and says, "Well, Analeth, who have we here?" Analeth puts his straight razor away. Says, "Hey, Mr. Mert, sir. Fresh blood," and turns on the spot and walks away.
And I walk away.
And he says, "Good evening, friends. I hope you're having a pleasant time in this foreign establishment. It's not to everyone's taste, but I like it very much. I should introduce myself. My name is Mert. Perhaps you've heard of me?"
Just a little. You seem to be someone rather
Important.
big in Waterdeep.
Well, as it happens, I've heard of you, and he like nods towards the other table. I rather make it my business to know a little about all the adventurers who pass through Waterdeep. So I'm guessing a group such as yourselves are looking for some excitement and some danger. Maybe a little treasure, am I right?
The treasure
Always.
part does sound nice.
He says, tell me now, have you heard of Blue Valley?
A few tall tales.
Tell me, what have you heard?
Oh, your usual doors of gold and riches.
And
Floating glass chests.
as you're saying that,
The
he like
usual.
grabs a chair from the table next to him and like shoves himself in amongst you guys. He says, well, rumor has it that years ago a secretive mage constructed Blue Alley as a test.
A test, huh? And
Test of
taking a
what?
guess of wits and strength and agility, or are we talking about a test that no one can actually pass?
I just hope it's not a math test.
The most common rumors say that it's most common rumors say that it's about wits, intelligence. And it's rumored that he secretly observes everyone who enters, gambles with others on the outcome of everyone who enters.
Ariza leans over to Portia and says, "It's a math test."
Fuck.
Wits and intelligence, yeah, math test.
I've heard it to be very dangerous, but also filled to the brim with.
At the sound of treasure, Greedo creaks back into the mess hall.
It's got supersonic hearing for the word treasure.
Yeah, treasure, gold, all your
Silver.
normal keywords.
Exploding glass chest.
Any doubts?
Oh, feeling a lot better from that mushroom that wasn't cooked here earlier.
Oh, I know it wasn't, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a sort of a standing contract with Trident. Perhaps you'd be interested.
I'm going to guess it involves this blue alley.
Of course it does, of course. I've heard that there's a rather unique sculpture inside. Yes, and I want it.
A sculpture of what, if you don't mind my curiosity?
A unicorn. Made out of celestite.
I'm taking a guess celestite is one of like the more rarer materials, DM.
None of you would have even heard of it. That rare.
It's just cellophane wrapped around a rock.
Go the mystic arts of celestite, then.
I've heard tell.
Now, the Blue Alley vanishes and reappears every few years. For like 6 months at a time. I've got a standing contract with Trident for 250 gold for anyone who brings me one.
Oh,
When was
there's a
the
decent chunk.
Sorry,
when was the last time it appeared?
Oh, about 4 months ago now.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, it's here now. It's here for another 2 months. Vanish.
Right.
6 months on, 6 months off.
There's and he like leans right in. He's like, and I happen to know where it is, and like taps his nose.
But you haven't yet found anyone brave or foolhardy enough to go in there for you.
Someone who survived long enough to actually get out.
Oh, I know for a fact those bunks upstairs are empty. Who do you think? Where do you think they went?
To the curious blue alley.
Exactly, you pick up quick. So, how about it?
I don't know about all of you, but I'm down. It's a bit of a change of pace of my usual.
250 with some loot.
Sounds like a nice reward to me.
Certainly tempting.
And he just turns on the spot and goes, Vetus! And Vetus runs in. Oh, yeah, Mert, what can I get done for you, sir? And he says, get me the favor. And
Shredded piece of paper.
Vetus turns on the
I love
spot.
it.
And you can see through like the angle that you guys are sitting that he starts running upstairs. After a couple of moments, Mert is just saying like, yeah, Tom, if only anyone knew who this mage was, I'd love to have a word with him. Could do with a little pocket dimension like Blue Alley, am I right? And like elbows the person next to him.
Your research.
And a few minutes pass, and a few minutes pass, and Artug comes down with a very worn piece of paper. And as he approaches, he's like, "All right, Mert, who have you got? Who have you got?" And he sees you, and he goes, "They haven't even been here one day, mate." And Mert turns to him and says, "Well, they're enterprising sorts. They're quick to climb up the ranks, this lot." And he claps the two people next to him on the back.
Please tell me one of them's Portia. Please tell me one of them's Portia.
I was about to say who's next to him.
Please tell me one of them's Portia. I will attempt to catch her as she goes flying across the fucking table, but I want one of them to be Portia.
No, it's it's not Portia. That's mean. Stop
To be
singling
fair,
her out, guys.
If it's Greedo, Greedo is only 3
Oh
feet.
yeah, yeah. It's fine if it's strapped, but
Hey, I'm tall for a deep gnome, right? I'm just almost pushing 4 foot.
Well, I'm short for a halfling, so.
yeah, it's fine if it scraps. But anyone else? That's how it is.
Because Scraps is a kobold.
Oh, so it's a race thing.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck is this?
Artug approaches, puts the piece of paper in the middle of the table, and just kind of like ushers towards it and says, "Look, it's a bit. I mean, have fun," and just turns and walks away.
Thank you, darling.
Ariza reaches for it and just like looks it over and just like, well, we were told to impress, so what better way to impress than to, I don't know, take on a contract that's other adepts haven't taken on or couldn't take on.
Shit, I closed
That's-
my eyes for a second. All of a sudden, a bit of paper appeared in my front of my face.
Mert says, that's the spirit. That's how you climb far in the ranks of the Trident."
Oh, I'm just
Mm.
interested in the challenge. And the
Isn't-
gold.
Isn't everyone?
That gold.
No one comes to Trident for a good time.
We come here for a fun time.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
I mean, hopefully a long time. I don't want to die or get kicked out.
Those are two very different things.
I thought they were one and the same.
I mean, from what we've heard, like, there's some ways of getting kicked out that equate to dying.
Yes,
Skinning.
well, I mean, Trident keeps delivering, so we kind of look the other way. We trust that Trident looks after themselves.
Fair
Right.
enough.
Is there any other information that you might know about Blue Alley?
What would you like to know?
Location, potential dangers, all that sort of stuff. You know, something that's people might have brought back from, you know, their close encounter, shall we say.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I know where the door is. I don't know where the exit is. These damn magicians. You can't. I mean, it could be. Everything could shift around inside.
Ever-shifting plane.
Yeah, so I have people all over the city looking for the entrance every 6 months, and once I find it, I throw as many Trident members through that door as R2 will let me.
Sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah, as well, that's the thing about Trident. Nobody ever says no.
Well, eventually sheer force of numbers will win out.
Exactly. So, after you've all had a moment to look at the contract, it says, so how about it?
I'm in.
I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Oh, that's the ticket! Well then, all the information I have to offer is on that piece of paper.
Informative.
And he looks back at the table he came from and says, Carrie! Don't you dare touch that crab. I'm coming back for it now. And just gets up and starts heading back towards it.
Oh shit.
He seems lovely.
So
Fun guy.
solid night's rest and start off in the morning, or
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I've
Bottoms
got
up.
some buttered mushrooms to sleep off.
Absolutely.
I got a bit of everything to sleep off.
Yeah, how was your camel?
Haven't had it yet. Still letting
Oh,
it
you had
cure.
camel? That's exciting. I hear it's delicious.
She's just basically gonna cut like half of it off. And just like try half the camel gum jerky. In before con save.
So you're going to try it now?
Actually, did he specify how long to just cure it for, or?
No. I mean, you can tell that it's definitely starting to cure,
Right, some of it's
but
nice.
it's not exactly like salted pork yet or anything like
I'll try some a
as-
little later on
as
when it's a
you-
bit more
Something
cured.
else from the camel?
Yeah, the eyes. Well, the eyes and the eyes were one of the more recommended items, and the gums would apparently make excellent jerky.
and the ear used
And
as
the ear
a
was
used as a ladle to gravy the rest of your meat.
Hmm.
But
I'll
I
stick
think
with my
you
roast vegetables.
I think you only took the gum, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I only took the gum. Yeah, just a chunk of camel gum. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop it up into like 2 pieces. Had to
Yeah.
think about a number there for a second.
Yeah, I mean it's easily done. It is still yeah, there is still a little bit of moisture in it, so it still just cuts up like any other meat.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm just gonna let those cure.
you start to head upstairs. As you walk past, you can there's like a it's that camel.
Arisa's just gonna lean over and just like hand feed us a piece of the camel gum. She's like, "Yep, here you go, bud."
Oh my god, thanks. The old man doesn't let me go eat till shift's up.
A little bit of a snack. Shh.
Put in a good word for you. You just like it's just in his mouth.
Well, I
as
mean,
he
someone's already making friends.
as he chews,
first,
there is a
Yeah.
disgusting like crunching sound.
Some
Like
teeth
a-
Teeth are
left
still
in
in
that
there.
gum.
It is as if like the sound that's coming from this young Goliath's mouth is as if you just handed him a like a handful of rocks.
Jesus.
Is there a teeth in that gum still?
I mean, I was watching, and the
No,
guy
they take the tooth out. You don't have to worry about that.
did pull teeth, but
We're still
whether he
bone
got
in
them
it.
all.
You, hey, what happened to your teeth there, bud?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bub. I got a mouthful of camel. I'm in Flavor Town.
Oh, mate, I just took a one-way trip to Flavor Town.
Reese is
All
gonna head up to the
aboard.
rooms.
All aboard the Camel Jerky Express.
Ain't that the truth, my brother?
See you later, Vetus.
Enjoy your camel.
Oh, I will. Enjoy your night. And you start to head upstairs. As you head upstairs, the room is the exact same way you left it. Everything completely untouched except the wherever you drop your packs, and the only other noticeable thing is the chest with the keys missing. There, you can all settle in for your night's rest if that's what you're inclined to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, the night passes uneventfully. You all wake up. Given it was still a little bit early, you all sort of wake up around like 4:35 in the morning. But the morning is your own.
So, breakfast?
Coffee.
Yes.
I mean, if you'd like coffee for breakfast, I'm sure they could arrange that.
So you're all heading downstairs.
Sure.
Sure.
So yeah, you head downstairs. There's a new barkeep behind the bar. And there's an extra, like, extended section of the buffet. With like assorted like spiced potatoes, sausages, like huge heaps of bacon, and like greasy slices of bread.
I might take some spiced potatoes. Are there any eggs?
No eggs.
Eggs vegetarian?
Yes, they're just not
Yeah.
vegan.
Vegan is anything animal based. Vegetarian is
Yeah,
just
as
nothing.
long as it's not meat,
meat.
you can. It's
Yeah, right.
vegetarian.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely eggs.
Cool. I'm gonna take some of those. Yeah, so like cheese is vegetarian, but it's not vegan.
There's also, there is also large urns of coffee. One of them has like, the condensation build up around the bottom where like steam. Every time someone pours himself a cup, the steam gets let loose and it builds up around the outside. The other one next to it has frost all around it.
Hot coffee, iced coffee.
Nah, man, that one's just filled with breakfast ale.
Jove.
Coffee and add some salt. My thing's salty.
I'm gonna try find some tea.
It takes a little bit. You have to hit up one of the cooks and be like, "Oh, I'm very sorry about that. People that we have on the tea list aren't here at the moment. So I'll put tea underneath your name, so if you're here, there'll be tea available. Let me just go make you some."
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
And yeah, the person disappears out the back. You'll settle in, have your breakfast. And yeah, 2.5 minutes later, the same person comes back with a steaming cup of green tea.
Thank you. It smells delicious.
And yeah, you'll settle in for an awesome breakfast.
I'm taking a guess there's gonna be breakfast bacon.
Yeah, piles of bacon.
Cool. I'm gonna have a
You don't
little
have
bit
to
of
say
extra.
breakfast bacon. Like breakfast is bacon.
Fair. I'm just gonna have a
Shush,
plate of
vegetarian.
extra.
Out of character.
You don't get a say in this conversation.
I'm gonna have a little bit of extra bacon just to pocket it later to have some pocket bacon.
Fucking pocket bacon.
But yeah, so breakfast goes off
I'm gonna go to
uneventfully
town
and
on those
deliciously.
spiced potatoes.
Yeah, so they're not like hot. It's all like cumin, paprika, like
Oh, that sounds delicious.
it's legitimately making my stomach now. The amount of,
Yeah, no, I'm mouth watering.
I haven't had dinner, and the amount of food I've had to describe to you guys is insane.
I
Well,
am
Greg,
fortunate
that's
in that I
what-
had dinner during the intro.
That's just you playing yourself, DM.
Yeah, that's my fault.
You played yourself.
But yeah, so yeah, breakfast passes uneventfully and deliciously. And yeah, unless there's anything else you guys want to do, there's nothing but to get on with the contract.
No, let's go find this blue alley.
Do it. Let's make that money.
To the Sea Ward.
So, like I said, you guys have a cursory understanding of Waterdeep at the moment, given that you guys would have spent even on the low end a couple of days here, like sightseeing and whatnot, while you get rid of the written portion of the application. So the trades ward where you are currently is kind of like central, like on the eastern side of Waterdeep. The Sea Ward is like the far northwest of Waterdeep, bordering on the ocean, obviously. It's a very upper class area. Not so much like Mert. Mert would kind of hang out in the Castle Ward, and all the like aristocracy would be out in the Castle Ward.
Upper middle class.
Yeah, this is like the elite without power, where all the old money hangs out. So every house here like is like cramped together townhouses of like between 3 to 5 stories high. There's not too many people around at the moment, but the town guard, as you guys walk along, are like eyeing everyone suspiciously. And like the streets are immaculate. There's lots of greenery on all the street corners and lining the footpaths.
It's like wear my tabard thing as a little cape.
I'm gonna have the habit like tucked in on the side of the belt, on the right hip, so that way it like covers part of a dagger.
So you guys are you guys leaving Trident with them on, or are you putting them on when you get to the Sea Ward?
I'm
I'll
putting
probably-
it on just before I leave the gate, so like basically loop it inside of the belt and basically like have it as a sort of hip tabard, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna put mine on as I left, sort of
So,
wear it as a half cape.
So as you guys get to the Sea Ward, then the guards are like poignantly avoiding your gaze. So you can tell that as soon as you pass a guard, they're like trying their hardest to kind of soak it in when you're not looking at them. But like there's a physical decision made to like avoid your eyes as they approach. Like as you approach them on the street, they're like looking anywhere but at where you're standing.
Nice.
So
I
they're
could get
basically
used to
trying to
this.
ignore our presence. They're just like, they're not here, they're not here. As soon as we're gone, they're just like, ah.
Yeah, basically. And there's a mixed sort of feeling about it too. Like some of them you can tell are just super envious and jealous. There are others that you like almost have to worry about like them shooting you in the back. Like it's not just like you guys aren't like it's a mix of like celebrity and hatred.
Yeah. Unsure if they,
and
want
it's
to
generally
be us, want to
yeah,
be with us,
yeah,
or want to
like
kill us.
the younger guards, you can tell like they're fresh on the city guard beat. They're in their head, they're like, that's gonna be me one day. The older guards are like, yeah, that could have been me. I'll fucking take him down right now.
Ariza is just like striding in confidence, not like overconfidence, just like, you know, she's like, yeah, I made it.
But yeah,
Claudia's
so you
gonna hit up
guys,
a guard. Ask for directions to Ivy Street. Just to fuck with them.
Brilliant.
yeah, so you see a pair of guards. One of them, like as they're patrolling, they're just because it's the Sea Ward. They always got a hand on a weapon, so it's not like as you approach they're like gripping their sword or anything like that. As you approach, there's one guy with his hand on the hilt of his short sword. Another guy has a short bow in his hand, but like no arrow knocked or anything like that. And they're both younger guys.
Hello, darlings. Just looking for a Ivory Street. Could you point us in the right direction, please? That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, as they turn around, they both like get started with a, "What are you doing about this time?" Oh, hi.
Hello.
You're one of them Trident mob.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh my god, what's it like?
Hard to tell. It's a bit early.
I mean, yeah, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, but
Well, both that and it's just a bit early in the whole situation to. Can you point me in the direction of Ivory Street, please, darlings?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So this is Del Zoran Street that you're on right now. And as this
Right.
guy's explaining, the other one's like, "Is it true you have to shoot an apple off someone's head?"
Oh no, it's in their mouth.
Cool.
Cool, blimey!
And the other one, like the one that's explaining, is like elbowing him, like, "Yeah, so this is Del Zoran Street. You want to take a right just up there on Diamond Street, and 2 streets up, yeah, you make a left. That's Ivory Street."
Thank you very much. Send you on your way. Have fun, boys.
Thank you so much. And the other one, like, you can tell he takes like 2 steps to follow, and he's like the one that gave you the directions. That's like grab him around the elbow and like hold him back.
Ta-ta.
See, you follow the directions. All of them are like major streets, so it's very easy to follow. There's no like back alleys or anything like that. You make the right
Not
on Diamond
yet.
Street. You make the right on a Diamond Street, walk a couple blocks up, and you get to Ivory Street. As soon as you turn onto Ivory Street, there is no doubt where Blue Alley is. For whatever reason, from the description that Mert gave you, given that it disappears and reappears every 6 months, from outside you can see an alleyway that has a very like faint blue like aura to it. And you can actually see where that alley comes into the street. The blue, like the road itself changes material to like a blue soda light. It kind of like fans out from the alleyway and gives off a faint blue aura.
Gonna take a wild guess and say that that there is our Blue Alley, loves. Oh shit! Do we have a proper map now?
God damn, how fucking big is this map?
It's large.
Yeah, it has a scroll that's like 10% just to fucking scroll in at the bottom.
There we go.
Yeah,
God
so
damn.
you can see like the very meticulously like cobblestone street. And from this alley fans out this blue soda light.
I don't think my my player's notebook actually has enough space to make that entire fucking map.
Obviously, you need a new notebook.
It's a brand new one.
Time to get an artist sketch pad instead.
Yeah, A3
I mean,
sketchpad.
my computer is sitting on top of an A3 sketchpad.
There you go.
It took me a long time to get this compressed.
I fucking bet. At that
Do we
size,
have health bars above our heads, or do we have to put that in, or?
that's something that needs to be turned on on DM side
Oh
usually.
no, wait! I just clicked on the cogwheel and I put in bar 1, the health and max health.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So I click on icon cog.
Yeah, it's still only you'll be the only one able to see it.
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go. So that's.
Hello.
Greedo should have health. Ladia and Portia. Cheese, can you see the map?
I can see the map, but I can't see my token.
You have to drag it off the thing, off your journal.
Just make sure you drag from the words, not the icon, because it does weird shit if you try and do it from the icon. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be imagining Greedo as a fucking little cheese man this whole time now.
Oh yeah.
It's great. I appreciate
Cheese
it.
man in a
Totally
quad.
get behind it.
I'm gonna get it withdrawn, making it look like rock.
Just change the
grey
color of the
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, make it like a grey color, something like that.
Well, I think we've arrived. Shall we take a closer look by any chance? See what all this fuss is about.
So, as you approach the alley itself, the alley is about 10 foot wide, with cobblestones of blue sodalite and 20-foot walls on either side. On the western wall are the words Blue Alley painted on.
I feel like that's a
Well,
bit
they're not
redundant, but
subtle.
okay.
And at the entrance is a podium of blue sodalite, with a quill and a heavy book.
What is this, a fucking visitors registry?
I think we might be at the wrong location. If they weren't subtle enough. Shall we just get a closer look at what this, well, blue alley is then?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that book.
Yes, as you approach the book, it's massive for one, and it has got hundreds of names written in it.
Is
All of them written in a different hand, and about a quarter of them have neat lines through them.
it's a goddamn visitors registry. The ones with the lines through them, I would say, are the ones that have probably not made it out.
I was hoping that you would say that the ones that did make it out
Seems
And just-
unlikely.
called it quits. But, well,
So, sign our names.
Sure.
why
Seems
not?
like the way it's got to go.
So that way they can keep a death tally on who makes it out.
Mm-hmm.
Send out notes to our families and all that sort of shit.
Falario will write a name down and continue on a little bit and wait.
Breeze will do the same.
You'll write your names down.
Sure.
Do you need help reaching it?
I think I got it.
You're the one that gave the shot.
You know, if I stab you in the kneecaps, it's still stabbing you.
It's very true.
Character laughters. But I guess it still stands for that.
Greedo, you signing your name as well? Are you muted?
Am I muted?
Not
Not
anymore.
now.
Okay. Yeah, I was muted. Sorry. Let me just sign this right here.
Yep. So where the alley ends, as soon as each of you individually, as you sign your names, the wall at the end of the alley disappears and turns into a fork.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Choices. Already. Lovely. You look right, I look left.
Sounds like a plan.
This is the part where the DM says there's traps.
So
I'm gonna
as you get to the end of the alley, there on this wall that you're facing, like at the end of the alley, there is a like bright, vivid mural painted on the wall. As you get closer, you can start to make out what it is, and it's various depictions of adventurers falling prey to traps. Like there's people being eviscerated by scything blades, people falling into spike pits, collapsing roofs, jets of fire, poison gas.
Well then.
So watch your step.
At the top of the mural, pointing east is the word silver, and pointing west is the word gold.
I mean, personally, I'm all about that gold life.
Yeah, but
Well,
silver
where's the
could be the unicorn.
Do we know
Honestly,
the
I'm
unicorn
just
is
inclined to
silver?
go for silver for the pure fact that I'm silver. Seems serendipitous to me.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I say put it to a vote.
I say silver.
I am also going with silver.
Of course you are.
Silver.
Well, there
Alright.
we go.
Alright.
Silver it is.
I'm going to keep an eye open for traps.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe someone go ahead of me. I'm not very good at spotting those sorts of things.
You gonna make a perception check?
Perception or investigation? Okay. Nope.
Perception for generally checking for traps. Investigation if you're checking something specific for traps.
Fair. I'm just gonna take it really slowly. Because I got something in my eye.
Yeah, I mean this hallway is definitely clear.
Oh boy. Can I get a second opinion?
Would anyone like to make a backup perception check?
I'll give
ma-
it a go.
I was going to say I'll make a backup perception check, and I feel like it's fair because I got a negative. Oh my god.
Why were
be
you
fair,
the one
I'm
to put your
short
hand up,
and I'm a
Arisa,
fat.
with a 1 modifier?
I thought it would be investigation, but okay.
Fair enough. I mean, because
can
it's
you
the
blame
first
me?
hallway, I'll let. Yes, it's never investigation for checking for traps.
I don't know why. Okay.
If you want to, like, for example, if you want to check the painting for traps, it would be investigation.
Right.
Let's
Okay.
be
Yep.
fair, there hasn't been a lot of trap checking in Avernus,
Oh
and
god,
she
no!
hasn't played a rogue before.
No one
That's
ever
true.
checks for traps in any campaign ever.
First try
I don't know
rogue,
what you're
so
talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds
Because
like
it's-
as if someone once had a character who just tanked the traps instead.
yeah,
Because it's
and
because it's
poisoned
the,
the fucking warlock.
because
I don't
it's
know
the
what you're
first
talking about. That definitely
corridor
didn't happen.
of the first dungeon as a group. I'll let you all make perception checks just this once.
Yay.
Alright.
There we go, you fuckers.
Oh, thank
Jesus.
Christ.
Let me actually make the perception checks.
So,
Ariza will just
What
gesture for
the
Greedo just
same
to go ahead.
modifier?
Ariza and Portia, you guys are like crawling hand and knee checking for tripwires as you go.
I'm
Uh,
strong.
Palladia and Greedo, actually, both of you. You stop to have a look at the painting. The first thing that catches your eye is yourselves in the painting, being electrocuted. And
That's
under
inauspicious.
on the bottom, like frame, like where the border is, you both see the words, 50 feet south of the barred window is a secret door, scrawled in, like, handwritten.
Keep that in mind. That being said, ominous prediction of us all being shocked to death. Hmm.
But no traps.
Okay. Note to self, watch out for electricity. Watch out for a barred window for a secret door. Good plan.
So you guys are heading east, right?
Yeah.
Who wants to lead the way?
Fuck it.
Who's tankier?
Not me.
Not? Yeah, I was about to say.
I can tell you confidently, none of you.
Yeah, I know, right?
We all went DPS. Fuck.
Yeah, and there's no healer.
We need a healer.
It's fine.
Just in case. We need a healer just in case.
We're gonna die. This is gonna
The
be
point.
great.
We can respawn, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
Sorta.
So yeah, you come to a corridor at the dead end. There's a skeleton on the ground and two doors.
Gonna
That's a multiple choice.
carefully creep my way forward
Who wants
and
to check this hallway for traps?
inspect the skeleton. We probably died from said traps.
Yeah. You can make a perception or investigation check.
Immediately clicks investigation.
I mean, it's not animated. It doesn't bring to unlife as you approach. Just a dead person.
Is there any sort of sign of method of death?
You notice a divot in the skull, but you can't figure out like what would have caused it.
I got conked on the skull by someone. Who wants to check doors?
Sure, I'll investigate this first door, see if there's anything there.
Yeah.
This is a terrible idea.
No fear.
Sure.
As in opening the door or checking it?
I'm gonna check it over first. If I can't find anything, then I'll open it.
Can I give advantage to that? Like
Make a roll.
assist?
Investigation with advantage.
Yeah, or perception, whatever you want to do.
Perception's better. Or not.
Or
That's safe.
Ooh.
The
To be
door's
fair, the
safe.
investigation's a -1, so. Yeah, I said I was gonna open it if I think it's safe, so
So you
no
open
fear.
the door.
I open the door.
Spears jut out through the floor.
So yeah, the walls of this room are kind of like dressed up. There's like tabards, just loose pieces of cloth with nothing in particular on them on the walls. And there is an open pit blocking the way, about 10 feet deep and 20 foot long. The pit itself is lined with jagged and menacing looking spikes.
Oh, that's lovely.
I can, maybe try jump across, see if there's anything across the other side that's worth us trying to go there. It's an acrobatics roll, right?
I mean, do you really think that you can jump the 20, 30 feet you'd require to do that?
I mean, I think I can like jump from one wall to the other, kind of like
Wall running?
yeah, wall running sort of
Parkour.
style. Parkour, exactly.
Cool.
On a quick sidebar question, if I was to do it, because I'm proficient, would I have advantage when I roll?
No.
Alright.
Not unless someone gave you it.
So the rule on jumping: when you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. So you got to move 10 feet, then you can move your strength score. Not the modifier, the score. That's a long
Okay.
jump.
For strength, not acrobatics.
Yep.
Alright. I take it back, guys. I miscalculated my strength and ability. I'm a bit, gangly and lanky, and maybe one of you should try and jump it.
Yeah, no, my strength is not good.
What would you all like to do?
Some parkour shit, that's not happening.
What would you like to do?
I'm gonna check out this other door, see if it's safe, and
Mm-hmm.
just
Give advantage.
thank you. Investigation or perception, you said?
Yeah, sure.
Please work. Decent.
It's better than mine.
The door's safe.
Slowly crack it open and just push it open. What do I see?
All right.
15 bugbears.
All right. As you open the door, the walls are decorated with colorful frescoes depicting a skyscape filled with all manner of flying creatures, from bumblebees to rocks. The ceiling is 20 feet high. About 15 feet above the floor, a row of short copper rods protrude from either wall. Lightning arcs between these rods the entire length of the corridor.
Oh, fuck me.
Hey, Philadia, I think I found your lightning electrifying shit.
Right.
What would you guys like to do?
Just go up to the doorway and see if I can spot anything through the hallway as to what the electricity is about and for, and
So just to be clear, the electricity is not arcing down to the ground.
it's 15 feet up.
Yeah, it's arcing coil to coil 15 feet up.
Mm.
Just in case there's any confusion. If you want, you can make a perception check.
Let's peek my head in. I reckon I can get under it.
Yeah, no shit. Fucking short ass halfling.
Other than the coils, there's nothing in the corridor.
I'm gonna try something strange. I'm going to pull up my short bow and one of my arrows and just shoot it basically just above Philadia's head height, I suppose, just to like try and judge if it like arcs towards any metal or anything.
Like 7-8 foot high, that sort of thing.
Yeah, just to try and like arch it over at a specific height and then have it drop on the other side.
Yeah, it's easy
So
enough.
I'll just like fire a shot off.
Yeah, I mean, given how short the corridor and everything is, I won't make you roll for that. It just passes through the corridor. No electricity, no nothing.
Well,
Okay, maybe there's not enough power or enough metal on that.
fortune favors the bold. Boop.
Yeah, you step into the corridor, nothing happens.
I want to see if there are any, like pressure plates or anything like that.
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
Oh boy, please work for me.
Yeah. Philadia is about to step on one.
Valadia, stop! Nope. Pressure plate directly in front of you. Don't step.
Do you know
Go
what the
to your left.
funniest part about that was?
You're about to place your icon down?
I literally had the token in hand and over the next square ahead.
And I would have counted it.
I know, and I would have been like, yes, good work.
There is
So what,
about
right.
there is about 1 inch wide the entire width of the corridor. Like from wall to wall, there's a 1 inch thick section of the floor that's raised ever so slightly higher than the rest of the floor. We're
that the
we're
only
talking
one?
like, yeah, like that. And that is the only one you can see, smack bang in the middle of the corridor.
So
Sneaky fuckers.
little jump.
Just gonna step over that.
Yeah, or a hurdle for Portia.
I demand an acrobatics check.
No, I did say it's legitimately like
Boom.
10 mil, like a centimeter.
Right, I'm gonna pick up my arrow, stuff that back in the cover, and just have a hand on a rapier just in case.
If I had to roll an acrobatics check, I'd be aiming to land on your shoulders.
Are you trying to tell me that you're 2.5 feet tall and you're gonna have an almost 7-foot vertical leap?
Yes, I am Griffin fucking McElroy.
Well, if Griffin was 2.5 feet tall.
So you pass through the corridor. All of you are completely unelectrified. Portia and Ariza, you get some static in your hair. It flares out at odd angles, but otherwise that's the extent of it.
It was already curly enough.
And yeah, the corridor
Besides
ends.
not having hair, darling.
The corridor ends in a silver-plated iron door.
Alright,
wants
who
to
wants to
help
check the
me?
door?
Who wants to help me with this one?
Sure,
Unless
why not?
unless anybody else would like to inspect the door, in which case I'm open to ideas.
Honestly, darling, I'd be more of a hindrance than a help.
Just throwing the offer out there.
Perception check on the door.
Yeah, if you want to have a look.
I'll take a quick look at the door. See how it looks.
It looks very expensive.
Ooh. And you reckon any of you are particularly strong? You reckon you could shove this in your bag?
And there is there's a central keyhole dead in the middle of the two doors.
Hee-ho.
Yeah, like where they join in the middle, like the line itself of the doors goes around this keyhole.
Could I do I'm just gonna give a quick perception check to the kind of this general area we're in, like around the walls.
I'm gonna
Interesting.
take.
Yeah, I mean just
Portia's
using the
perception.
10, there's nothing that. Oh, you got to roll a nat 20.
Didn't you say nat 20 didn't count?
Yeah, but I mean it's still 22,
It's still a 22.
Yeah.
Sure.
and you wasted it because there's nothing except the door.
Oh.
I'm gonna accept Portia's help and investigate the door with advantage if that's okay.
Sure.
Advantage, investigation. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean Greedos would have seen this as well. Yeah, so it's a silver-plated iron door, and it's engraved with circles of varying sizes.
Cycles over.
And the central keyhole as well.
Are you talking standard keyhole size, massive, tiny, multiple?
No, just the one keyhole. It looks, I mean, bigger than a normal key, like a skeleton key out of a movie, like that exaggerated sort of size. But yeah, otherwise just a standard keyhole.
Could we maybe lockpick it?
And try.
I want to give advantage to that.
You can. I've already set up your thieves tools, so you should just be able to click
Yeah.
that.
Two rogues working on a lockpick.
Yeah, you start. Yeah, you roll out your thieves tools. Sorry.
I accidentally double clicked it.
Oh, you had advantage anyway. It worked.
I'm a rogue too.
Were you giving advantage, Ariza, or do you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
try
I was
yourself?
giving assistance.
Yeah, sweet. So you get used to, you unfurl your thieves tools, your lockpicks and whatnot. Get started looking for the pins and whatnot. Just can't figure it out, even with Ariza's help.
You know, I appreciate your help, but this one's beyond me. Sadly, still.
Yeah, we might have to go to gold. Oh boy.
Is it
There was
actually
another
locked?
pathway we were able to explore, right?
Yeah, the gold way, west. No, to the left.
Look, I mean, I did say gold was best. You know, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah,
about
but best to explore the not so traveled path.
You guys are heading all the way back.
Sure.
I mean, is there anything you guys want to try? Anything you want to do?
Is the door actually locked?
Can
Yeah.
the Yep.
Try
well,
opening the
I was
door.
also gonna see, like, is there in any other circles, like, able to be pushed in or anything, or rotated, or
I mean, you can quickly go through and tap them all. Nothing happens. And yes, the door
like
is
firm
locked.
shove,
Look, I've been
try
hit
and
with that one
rotate.
enough times that
I
I've
would
got
have
to check.
I would have loved if the books if the got said it wasn't locked.
As I said, I've been hit with that one enough times, so I've just got to check.
So no rotating, no pressing, completely solid, no movement.
Completely solid silver and iron door.
I suppose we gotta go to gold then. And if I swear to fuck, if we have to find another key for gold, I'm gonna stab someone.
we checked that skeleton, right? Should we give it another check or?
Hop over that. And
So who's having a look? Who wants to roll?
You are looking if
You can both roll individually, or one of you can have advantage.
can we roll investigation? I mean, I can take the advantage roll if Greedo wants.
Yeah, I'll give you the advantage.
Awesome. Investigation, right?
Yeah, sure.
Decent.
You start working your way. I mean, you know it's not an animated skeleton. You know it's not undead. So you just start working your way up from the toes all the way up, through its body, looking for anything. I mean,
Check inside the skull.
Yeah, looking for keys. You get to the skull, and there is a small iron button in the skull.
I'm just gonna give that a very gentle press at about 2 feet away with the rapier.
Yeah, you push the
I'm just
button.
gonna step back over here.
Yeah, Ariza, you push the button, and behind you you hear as a door opens up.
Hello.
Noise.
Just like looks around, is like, oh, cool. Hey, found a secret door here.
Cool.
Let me just check something.
What are you checking?
I was checking the distance between the door which we were barred from entering and the entrance to the secret door. It wasn't 50 feet.
Why, what's 50 feet?
That's what the thing said, didn't it? But it said barred window.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Mm. Don't mind me, I'm also kind of tired. Just, like, I'm vagued out on that a little bit.
Blow down.
Shall we?
So yeah, you go into the corridor. You can see a flight of stairs. Got cut off. A flight of stairs leading down about 10 feet to another set of doors.
Okay. I'm starting to get a general idea as to why so many of people that Mert sent down here didn't get back.
Who wants to go first down the stairs in the ominous looking door?
Sure, fuck it.
Why is the squishiest
Dude.
person continually going first?
Because y'all are spending too much time back there going,
Wait, you're the squishiest?
I got 7 HP and a 12 armor class, my dude.
Oof.
Yeah, sorceress.
I mean, I
I
haven't
was
put mage
thinking-
armor on yet, but you know.
I was thinking druid, but
No, that's not good.
I'll help you out.
Check this door.
You can have a roll.
Oh,
Or you just
yeah,
want to you just want to check if it's unlocked.
that too.
Yeah, it seems to be unlocked.
Cool.
The way back to the entrance was
check.
pretty much clear, right?
So far, yeah.
Can I cautiously head back there in case anything gets sprung up? Or we missed anything the first time?
It's the 15 bugbears.
I want to check if that painting's changed. The one that showed us getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
You got advantage because I'm assisting.
Now that's been pointed out to you, you can clearly see where, like, you guys are on the painting. It has not changed. It still just depicts you guys being electrocuted.
Okay.
That'll be real fucking, like, on point for the Storm Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And yeah, the door seems untrapped.
Alrighty, open that shit up. Let's go.
Zappity zap zap double D.
You enter into
Flush.
quite a luxurious room that is seemingly fallen into disrepair.
Oh shit.
The couches are like super like overstuffed, like, and you know, like they seem super soft. The carpet on the ground has been like both rugs have been very well cared for. It's just like everything wood, like the bookcases and everything, seems like they're just aging.
I'm gonna
Alright.
take a general quick glance around the room for anything interesting, shiny, noteworthy. Shit. Basically starting at fire pit and making my way clockway around.
Yeah. The general layout of the
Clockwise.
room is kind of like that of a reception area.
Yeah, I can see it.
Is there anything interesting on the bookshelf or behind the desk?
No, not really. It's unintelligible ledgers.
And there's a big door here as well, it looks like.
Yep.
Here.
And another door on that
Two
northwest.
doors.
Gonna have a quick look over this door, see if anything interesting going on here.
Up here.
As you approach the door, it appears to be either locked or stuck. And from the other side of the door, you hear the words, "Entertain me."
Something vague, some vague noise coming from through this door over here. Entertain me or something like that. You wanna come have a listen?
Well, that's a stripper.
I think the stripper's meant to entertain you, not the other way around.
Generally speaking, yes.
Depends. Sometimes
Now,
there's
This is
a
actually
mutual
rather
obligation.
fortunate here. Because in a life previous to this one, that was exactly what I did. Entertaining, not stripping.
This is like
Like
Portia
raising
just
up-
raises an eyebrow at you.
Ariza's like leaning back a little bit, and finger raises is like.
Not that it would have been a problem if that was what I was doing.
You live your own life. I'm gonna check out this door. Investigate it for traps or whatever.
I'm just gonna have a quick look around the room.
Ouch.
Door seems safe.
Give it a slow jiggle of the handle, and then just slowly
Yeah, it
open
seems
it.
unlocked.
Well,
Slowly open it.
Alright, I'm gonna have a quick investigation of the room.
while they're doing that, Flotty's gonna stop and stand over nearby the door with the talking person behind it talking about entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
pull a flute out of her bag, and start playing. Literally have entertainer background, like, let's go.
I'm like, okay. You want to know the funny thing is, my music playlist had just had a flute playing.
Well, it works out. Normally it would be dancing, but it's a bit hard to entertain someone who's behind a door with a dance. So flute will do.
On the rug,
You doing what, sorry, Cheese?
sitting on the rug in front of the fire, listening to the beautiful flute playing.
I mean, just of note, there's no fire.
Wah,
It
wow.
looks like the room has very much been abandoned for quite some time.
You
The
can pretend.
fireplace, right? Is this a fireplace I'm looking at right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no fire.
I'm just imagining.
Came from the Underdark. He's used to that.
From
Imagination.
from the other side of the door, you can't hear anything.
Hmm.
After presumably after a minute or two of playing, you listen intently. You can't hear anything. Ariza, as you look through the door, there's a set of stairs going down again.
Oh my god, fucking down.
Well, it was worth a shot.
You would think that we're going down to Avernus.
I feel like Avernus is a bit further down than 2 10-foot flights of stairs, but
No, but
You
so
do
far it's
you.
just been down and down, and probably going to be down again, so. Oh well. Keeping an eye peeled for traps as well, just any arrows or tripwires or pressure plates or pressure steps, anything and everything.
those stairs down, or are they supposed to be stairs up?
The way you guys are coming, down.
Oh, okay. That means we came upstairs over here then, yeah?
Yes, you're correct.
Cool.
Now you're going back to ground level.
Yeah.
Should
Just
go
trying
on
to-
the statement about Avernus.
Yeah. Just trying to make sense of the arrows. Now I get it. It's all good. Excellent. So. Continuing on.
Perception check, I take it?
Yeah.
Decent.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the stairs.
Yeah, but I'm just like trying to keep an eye open for pretty much anything and everything as we go through.
As you go down the stairs, yeah, they creak with each step, but nothing happens. You come to the end of the corridor you're in, and are faced with another long corridor with multiple doors on either side, as well as another set of iron doors at the very end.
Jesus Christ.
If it makes you feel any better, if you scroll up on your map, you'll notice that we don't have much further to go before we hit the top.
Yeah, but how much blank space is left?
Just ignore
Um,
that part.
Scroll out to 20% and find out for yourself.
I didn't say anything about the west or the east. I just said north.
Now, did you guys want to end it there?
Seems like a fairly safe
It's
place.
definitely
to end.
and we're
here.
at 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's definitely traps here.
Yeah. All right. That seems like a half decent spot to end.
Sweet.
All right, but I mean, I'm completely open to running the rest of this module anytime you guys like.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, we totally leveled up there too, didn't we? Yeah, we could just be like,
Not at
we level
all.
up mid. We just level up mid adventure. We haven't done anything.
I mean, we've leveled up mid-adventure after killing a guy before, so...
Really, I just kind of want more HP. As soon as anything starts to look anything like proper traps, like I've got to remember. To go, oh god, mage armor! Oh god, mage armor! I need it! I need it so badly!
All right, thank you everyone that stopped by to watch. So yeah, this is Blue Alley by Alan Patrick and MT Black. At some point, realistically, probably tomorrow night, we'll be finishing off this one shot. The VOD should be up tomorrow night on YouTube, which is linked below. Also, you can follow me on Twitter for any updates. I try and post as much warning as I can when we go live. Hope you all have a good night, and thanks for dropping by.